Hi, I'm Ruben and you're watching the Ruby Tuesday. We are reviewing Blade Runner 2049, so let's get stuck into it. Blade Runner 2049 is the sequel or continuation of the storyline from Blade Runner, which was released in 1982 and was directed by Ridley Scott. The 1982 version starred Harrison Ford, and he has to take on runaway replicants or bad guy replicants, and there's a whole story behind that. So this is the continuation of that story. Denis Villeneuve is the director of this epic film, and I do mean epic. It's 2 hours and 50 minutes, and with trailers you're gonna be in there for the majority of the day. Now, I was really worried about going into this film because Blade Runner holds a special place in my heart, and for me is in my top 5 favorite films of all time. I studied it at uni. I've used it, and in fact lots of people study it itself. And so when they announced that they were doing a sequel to Blade Runner, I thought, how on earth are they going to do that? It's one complete story. There is no need. I was with the people that said don't do it, you're just going to ruin, along with so many other films that have been ruined recently with the remakes and sequels. I didn't think there was the need, but I was intrigued when we heard that Denis Villeneuve was announced to direct. So anyway, it's just under 3 hours, and Ryan Gosling picks up a similar character to Harrison Ford. He has to track down replicants.
You're a cop. I had your job once.
And that's about all I'm going to say about the plot, because the director went out to the press and said, please do not spoil any major plot points or anything else that you've seen, or not more than anything else that you've seen in the trailers, which says a lot to me that he's had a hand in not just his film, but what has gone in the trailers. He so wants you to experience the film in all its glory that even the trailers and the TV spots and the mountain of clips that films are normally shown now, he had a hand in showing you exactly what he wanted to release to the public so that it would not spoil anything. And I can honestly say they haven't spoiled anything in the trailers. This film is an epic. It's a masterpiece. And I don't say that lightly, and I don't want to like get anybody's hopes up and you go to cinema and go, what was he talking about? In fact, I was really wary about saying it's a masterpiece, because so many of the reviews now have given it 5 stars, and I often differ from the general public reviews. So like the BBC and all of the big names, of which I am not, give it 5 star. I go, oh no, it's going to be one of those films that I just disagree with. Like Wonder Woman, I thought Wonder Woman was great, but not the masterpiece everybody was making it out to be. So,
if this gets out, we've bought ourselves a war.
How good is this film? This film cinematically is brilliant and beautiful, and has probably the most amazing vistas I've seen in a film ever. And that is probably down, in fact I can say it is down to Roger Deakins, who in the industry at the moment is regarded as the best cinematographer of, I would say, our time, this generation's time. So he's done Skyfall, he did Shawshank, you know, his career it probably homes some of the best films ever made. And there isn't a sequence in this film that I didn't think was stunning. In fact, most of the film I probably had my mouth open going, how beautiful this is, because every shot you are trying to take in. This film will require multiple viewings because there's so much going on, whether it's in detail, close up to the actors, or wide open space, which he somehow still, the director somehow still manages to put you in place with the character, with what's going on, even though you're seeing wide vistas and wide landscapes, and it's just beautiful.
I had your job once.
Blade Runner 2049 nods a lot of the time to the original Blade Runner, but it never gets lost in what that Blade Runner was. It kind of does its own thing. Now, that's not to say that it doesn't house amazing city landscapes. So the futuristic landscapes that you remember of the first one, there is in this one, but it's so much more real in this film. Everything is tangible, although futuristic, and there are these amazing gadgets and gizmos and things that you would imagine, like if you watch Back to the Future for the first time and you would think, oh, hoverboards, they have those kind of things in this film, but everything seems tangible and real, which I think is a really great way to go and really helps you get to grips of what is going on in the film. I think some people might struggle with this film because there's actually not a lot of script in this film. The story is told through visual narrative, and if you know Denis Villeneuve's films, then you'll know that that is true to how he makes his films. So Arrival had some script, but was mostly told through amazing visual shots, and this is exactly that. This is a visual ride experience. The story is told through looks and grunts and neon colors, and every neon color tells another story and changes to next scenery, and the music adds to the vibe of what's going on. The music is phenomenal. I know Hans Zimmer is a part of the score team again, and he's just so good at what he does. There are some deep sound effects that literally were shaking the floor, that you could feel the vibration in your feet. And I would say this is a film that you definitely need to see at the cinema, because I just don't know that TVs are quite there yet. Just the other day I was saying, what is the need for cinema anymore? We've got great TVs. This speaks to your cinema experience. This is the true reason why people used to go to the cinemas, for the film experience, for that adventure. So it's sci-fi at its grandest epic nature. So Cleopatra crossed with the original Blade Runner. It's that sort of epic feeling. You walk out and you're quite stunned. In fact, when the credits rolled for this film, nobody got up for at least 20 seconds. There was just silence. And I haven't seen that done in a film for a very long time. People didn't, you could tell they were still trying to take in everything that was being told to them. There are some unique actors that I wasn't expecting. Some guys that you'll go, oh, I know that guy. And every single person has been chosen, obviously, to fit the perfect role. I was worried about people like Jared Leto, who is phenomenal in this film.
Bring it to me.
Harrison Ford, I was really worried about because he's old now, and I wasn't sure whether he could still hold the same presence as he did in Blade Runner, but he can. And when you see Ryan Gosling and Harrison Ford on screen together, they're just awesome. I don't know how else to tell you about this film without spoiling it, other than you need to see this film. Once every few years, you get a masterpiece. I would say Mad Max was close to being a masterpiece. The recent Mad Max Fury Road. Nobody expected it to be that good. This year, I haven't seen anything quite like this film. If your faith needs to be reaffirmed in film, and you're like, oh, so many films like me have let you down this year, go and see this film, because you'll come out going, that's why I love film. That's why I do this. For me, this reaffirmed my kind of love of film. And now I know again why I do this, because once in a generation you get new filmmakers, new Scorseses, new great actors and storytellers, and I think Denis Villeneuve is one of those.
Where is he?
If Roger Deakins doesn't get an Oscar this year, man, there's no reason to watch the Oscars anymore. I would normally put this in the Gorsome section for great and awesome, but I feel like it needs to go in its own section for masterpiece.
His masterpiece.
Just cinematic masterpiece. So, this is the Ruby Tuesday. We are now finished gushing all over this film. Honestly, you need to watch it. It's awesome. It's amazing. And tune in for our other reviews, game reviews, and more film reviews. And hopefully by then, this man cold will be finished. Thanks for watching.